Hello and welcome. Today I'd like to show you how to publish your knowledge graph from Obsidian to a website quite conveniently. And this infographic outlines the overall approach that I have. So I like to take my notes in Obsidian. There is this very similar software called Logseg, which is open source, contrary to Obsidian. And it works somewhat similarly, so it has the markdown files as a base format, but it takes this strongly opinionated approach towards bullet note taking. And well, it's slightly different, but in principle, they're quite similar with regards to links between notes, etc. So the approach I'm taking is taking the notes in Obsidian, exporting them to Logseg, which is done by a simple export script, and which in essence just copies the files from one location to another location. And afterwards, I open all the notes in Logseg, export to HTML, which is a feature that Logseg supports for free. Obsidian also supports publishing your website, however, there it costs money. And then I publish my HTML website to GitHub, the exported file from Logseg, and pull that repo onto my server. I have set up the server with Ansible pretty much completely to facilitate things such as security measures and also installing amenities such as analytics. So how many people are visiting the page with Umami, which is also an open source tool, as is Ansible, as is NetData. And then NetData is used on the server to track resource usage and service health. Okay, so I have this last point here about problems, which is related to the incompatibility between Obsidian and Logseg, which might be mitigated by just using Logseg and not using Obsidian. Or alternatively, improving the export script, I suppose. I also have the content checker here, which is just a simple idea that I had a couple days ago to send, to go over the pages in my Obsidian vault that I want to export and to analyze them for some, blacklisted words such that I don't accidentally export anything that I don't want. This is the graph of my nodes, with home being the starting node. And let's click on this one. So we have some basic information here about me. I mean, it is a website. And then I have some pages linked, which I can do with this double bracket notation. So let's go on to cybersecurity as an example. And then I have some resources where you can learn about cybersecurity noted down. And we also have some notes referring to this page, such as how to do the reverse SSH tunneling one, where I document how one can set up reverse SSH tunneling. And I have tagged all these pages, as you can see here, with a public true property at the top. And I can also conveniently filter my entire vault of nodes to only show the public pages, which I can do here. Tag, filter for public true. And then this is what will be exported. So I also have some overview here. Okay, so then after running the export script, we go to Logseg, and we see that this is not exactly the same as we saw before here. Let's go to home. I made some small changes. For example, I added that I'm interested in computer science and biology. This is the live website that's completely outdated. And then, so I'd like that in here. I don't have this script on GitHub, but it's also not very, nothing fancy. Logsec and Obsidian use a slightly different notation for the public tag, and this is replacing that for logsec here. Okay, let's run this script, which is Obsidian to logsec. Okay, we see all the files that have been exported and can then go back to logsec and reindex. We get some error messages that we can ignore, I believe, and we have our updated page here. Okay, next we go to export the graph, and we want to export the public pages to the dedicated repo. This takes pretty much no time. Then we can confirm by opening said folder. Okay, so I've opened the directory we've just exported to, and then upon clicking on the file, we get our local website running, and we can also go to the graph here, and well, that looks very similar to the Obsidian one, and we can similarly click on a node and see what that's about. So that works pretty reasonably. Okay, now for the next step, of course, the live website has not been updated yet, so we need to push to GitHub and pull. For that, we go back to terminal, git add, check that what we did is sensible, and it looks like it is. Some generic commit message and push. We SSH into the server and our appropriate directory. In this case, we needed to sudo because it's a privileged directory. There is one more thing to do, which is indeed in the index.html. There is a header which needs to manually be placed for Umami to work, which is the analytics website. Git add because of the Umami header, then stash, pull, and apply in order to have the header be inserted automatically again. Okay, and now what we would expect is that our local website is correctly served as public website now. And indeed, we have updated our public website here. Let's look a little bit at Umami. We can see here, basically in our dashboard, a list of the websites that we have. I have just set up this one here, and we get views, visits, visitors, bounce rate, how long they're on the page, and we can of course adjust the duration here, and we can get more details such as what the interesting pages are to people, their operating systems, and where people are visiting from and such things. Next, I want to show you net data, which I also have running locally. We have a lot more details here about everything updated by the second. If we look at fail to ban, we can see the amounts of bands. We can see, for example, here we have 14 people. On my GitHub, I have the scripts available for installing everything. Let me also point out that in terms of styling, this is just completely default, but you can configure it to be as you want, as the CSS is completely editable. And I hope that you find this interesting. If you use Obsidian or Logseg or something of that kind yourself, I can definitely recommend it to publish your notes, and it's actually quite fun to do. Have a good day, and thank you for watching.